Tonight on Fake News, the vice presidential debate was won by a fly. The FBI foils a plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and President Donald Trump finally welcomed COVID into his brain. Coming up, an interview with Mike Pence's fly, breaking news from field reporter Royce Shockley, a little bit of sports, and so much more. I'm Bryant Willis, filling in for Guy Manley, who was placed on injured reserve this week due to a little boo-boo. Let's do the news. And this is where let's do the news. Welcome to Fake News, a show that's about real news, but because we're not Al Jazeera, we're legally considered fake news. First, some personal news. I taught my son Gerald to drive this week. He did great, though my wife Tanya was not happy because he is a 7-year-old boy. In national news, the vice presidential debate between Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence took place on Wednesday. It was a much more cordial affair than the Trump versus Biden showdown from last week, reminding the nation to thank God that one of them will be president within 2 years. Despite reluctance to allow them by Vice President Pence's Republican campaign team, the Presidential Debate Commission had plexiglass barriers erected between the candidates because so far Republican politicians have made it too easy for coronavirus to get from one to another. Both candidates spent much of the debate dodging questions like my son Gerald dodging traffic when I taught him to drive. He's surprisingly good at it for a 7-year-old boy. Susan Page had a hard time stopping Vice President Pence from surpassing his allotted speaking time, most likely because she kept thanking him for continuing to talk. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Of course, the debate was dominated by a fly that landed on the Vice President's head and stayed there for over 2 minutes, longer than my wife Tanya has ever been on me. The fly sparked many Americans watching the debate to turn to Twitter, though some really overdid it. Seriously, one tweet per person, please. Next week's second presidential debate has been canceled because President Trump refused to do a virtual debate, requesting an in-person debate instead, despite being infected with the coronavirus, making it clear that to Trump, the only way to beat COVID is to become COVID. Vice President Biden said he'd be ready if the president changed his mind, which is exactly what I say to my wife Tanya every night. Love you, honey. Speaking of the president, after contracting COVID-19 and spending much of the weekend in the hospital, Donald Trump was released from Walter Reed on Monday, in yet another item on a long list of reasons why Garfield hates Mondays. The news shocked doctors, nurses, and Gerald and Ivanka, who just barely had enough time to clean up the Oval Office before he got home. Trump was given an experimental drug cocktail to deal with his coronavirus infection, including Regeneron, which he says is so good that it made him see God. Also in the cocktail were steroids that have pumped up his body even bigger. He's grown so much his hands are the size of my son Gerald's, and everyone says he's big for a 7-year-old. Early this week, the president briefly quarantined in the White House, marking just the second time he's been home alone. POTUS has since decided to return to the campaign trail despite being a walking contagion, likely because he couldn't handle spending that much time with his own thoughts. And tonight on Fox News, President Trump gave a live medical examination. He actually got that live medical examination from a doctor. He did not give one, he got one. In a twist that will surprise no one, the results were pre-written. Also this week, the FBI foiled a plot by white supremacists to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. And since we all know both sides are equally violent, to retaliate, Antifa announced a plot to capture Kid Rock. They're calling it a rock napping. And in sports news, the Miami Heat won the NBA championship in 5 games. Heat in 5. Nope, sorry, that's not correct. The Lakers probably won it all tonight. Oh, and NHL free agency opened today, and to some, that qualifies as news. That's the news that we have for you so far, but we do have breaking news I'm hearing. And that's exciting. It's in my ear and not so much on the screen, but we do have breaking news, which is coming to us from our field reporter, Royce Shockley. Let's get to Royce.
Good evening, Brian. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing well. Royce is coming. You're going to bring us some of the news that hasn't gotten as much coverage this past week. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, there was a lot of news last week that went pretty much uncovered because of once the news came out about Donald Trump contracting coronavirus, and once Madam Rona decided to have a sweet rendezvous with Trump on Thursday evening, a lot of these news stories just did not get the coverage that they deserved. First, where is Melania?
Hmm.
Now, let's not forget about that pandemic spit roast that also infected the first
Oh,
lady. Now, while the president was taken to Walter Reed Medical Center, there's been no word if Melania has been broken up with Miss Rona yet, or if coronavirus has decided to play around in Melania's mouth just a little bit longer.
Royce, don't you think we should be talking about this with a little bit of respect?
Well, what do you mean? I am being respectful. I mean, it's not like I went into more detail about that sweet, gentle caress, that
Hmm.
Corona had, that blessed the first couple with in a very loving and sensual three-way of disease.
Oh, okay. Let's just stop this right here, there, Royce.
But Brian, no one has seen Melania in days. I mean, this is a very important news story. I mean, could she still be in bed with Rona? Delicately exploring each other's bodies. Who knows? I mean, this is news. Like the people
I
need
don't
to know.
I don't think that's what that's not what the news is. Thanks, Royce. We'll come back to you if there's actual breaking news. Whew, that was a surprise. I didn't know we were going to learn so much about the way that coronavirus could be in love with a human being. Now, speaking of a human being being in love with something that you might be surprised to see it be in love with, we do have an interview coming up right now with the very fly that was on Mike Pence's head. And as soon as that fly is ready, I do hope it jumps on in here into the stream.
Hey, what's up,
Fly, are you ready?
everybody? Yeah, rocking on the road train. Bottom Harris, baby. Hey, what's up, Ezra? I mean, what's up, motherfuckers?
I'm Bryant Willis, of course, filling in for Guy Manley, who is, of course, on injured reserve with a boo boo. Now, Fly, are
All
you
you flashbacks just look the same to me. Just a bunch of hair waiting to be pounced on. What's up, Brad?
is that right? Is that what you're looking for when you're flying around a room? Just a little bit of hair to pounce on?
Well, here's a little something about me. I like to watch what's going on, if you know what I'm saying. I'm like one of those flies on the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
I've seen
sure.
so much shit. Yeah, yeah, I've seen so much shit, right? you know, I've seen so much shit that you would think that shit was in the White House.
I suppose so. And I do imagine that sometimes in the White House there are people who do shit. Now, Fly, at any point, did you consider that maybe interrupting the vice presidential debate was a distraction?
Oh man, that's what I wanted to do, man. I'm terrible at being just a fly on the wall. I like to mix stick up, because I obviously I'm gonna vote Biden Harris this coming November. And I hope everybody else out there does too. But I do want to say that you have some nice hair there, Brad. What if I just came over just to give you a quick little check to see what's going on in your neck of the woods? You know what I'm saying, Brad?
Oh, well, Fly, I appreciate the compliment. I do try to keep my hair fly free.
You would be surprised at how much fly is actually in other people's flies' hair. You know, sometimes they're just maybe 10, 15. I was checking out some of these flies up in Pence's hair earlier today.
Hmm. So you were in
There's a
Pence's
lot.
hair with multiple other flies?
Oh yeah, it's a straight up fly orgy up in Pence's hair, which is ironic because he's so Christian and all. But we like to get pretty fly for a white guy.
Oh, wow.
You an Offspring fan there, Brian?
To an old song. I do understand what you're saying there. Yes, at one point I did enjoy the remix to that song by Weird Al Yankovic, entitled "Pretty Fly for a Rabbi." Have you heard that one?
Oh yeah, I love Weird Al. He really knows, man. One time I was over at Weird Al's house, just kind of hanging out on the side of the wall, and
That's
Lady
right.
Gaga. Oh yeah, I get my rounds. You know he's got a house in D.C., right? So, anyways, I was over there checking out. Yeah, yeah, he's got one right next to the White House. 1501 Pennsylvania Avenue, if you
No, well, that's
catch my drift.
a little bit a little bit of the ways down the block from the White House, but that is an excellent location.
Yes, excellent location. And speaking of excellent location, he threw some of the fucking craziest parties in there, man. It was,
Wow.
had to be
So,
there.
Fly, I have to ask, are you a fly that hangs out in Washington, D.C., a fly that hangs out in the location of the debate, which I should know as a newsman, but I do not recall, or do you
Ah,
generally hang out near Mike Pence?
I just kind of hang out with Mike Pence, man. That dude is fucking nuts, dude. I mean, he puts in this really boring debate, like just boring talking. But then he likes to mix it up, man. You ever see like that devil worship shit where they like put people up in like straps and stuff? That's just fucking.
I'm sorry. Does Mike Pence do that? Does he put people up in straps and shit, as you said?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I've seen so much stuff over it. I just kind of hang out in his pocket, you know. I was trying to tell him what to say. Obviously, we have a great debate. I helped him prep for the debate there, actually. But because I've seen so much stuff.
Oh, really? So you're part of Trump's the Trump Pence debate team?
Yeah, sometimes you gotta get somebody to smell through all the bullshit.
That makes sense. So were you actually acting in accordance with the Trump Pence team when you flew onto stage and landed on Mike Pence's hair and distracted everyone from the fact that you had just said that you did not believe racism was a big deal in America?
So the problem, what the game plan was, is that Pence was just going to say some of his boring stuff. But if he gets in trouble, we need to, have, Donnie, Donnie, he loves a good meme. So what my job was, if this motherfucker doesn't entertain anybody, that's where I come in. I fly in the Pence fly, motherfucker. And that's how I save the debate. You're welcome, America. You're welcome. But obviously vote Biden Harris 2020. And,
It's
I'm just an
interesting that you are
entertainer.
on the Trump Pence debate team, but also such an ardent Harris Biden Biden
Uh,
Harris, excuse me,
it,
supporter.
it, it's kind of like how Rick Santorum is on CNN and he just kind of acts like a dumbass the whole time. That's kind of what I do. I'm just there for the other side of the table. So that's what. Yeah, so I just like to because I like to watch a bunch of stuff. I like to go around and just be around DC and check out the cool stuff. And so that's why I have a very unique perspective of politics in America. I've
I have to be honest, everything you said before, that's why I have a real unique perspective, was impossible to hear.
I can't just fly into your hair, but is there any way I can just fly into your hair? I just would love it so damn much. I want to talk to
I'm
the
not
people.
sure of the rules of your governing your existence. If it is possible for you to get from Mike Pence's head, where it seems like you currently are, to mine without Pence and I being in the same room, I suppose you could come and sit on my hair.
That would mean so much. One time I sat in what's her name? God, she played Cece on New Girl. I was sat on her with her.
Hannah something.
Yeah, Hannah. Yeah, Hannah Simone, I believe her name was.
That's
But
it, Hannah Simone.
yeah, I sat on her hair one time. You had to be there. I'm just a fly that's on the wall. You just had to be
I
there.
have to
Man.
be honest, that story was lacking in any sort of detail.
You just had to be there, man. Anyways, you know what we did after the debate?
I don't know.
It was crazy. So we went out backstage, right? None of us wear a mask because, because why not, right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, you all already have coronavirus, so at this point, why wear a mask?
Oh, yeah. Let's just say that pink eye was not from the bullshit he was saying. He had to be there, Brian. It was just
No,
crazy.
that one I understood.
Oh, man. What do you like to do to mix it up, man? If I would
I
have
thought you were
been
about to tell us the story of what happened after the debate.
That was the story, Brian. You had to be there. You had to be there, Brian.
Fly, I have to be honest, you are a much better fly than you are a storyteller.
I just like to watch, man. I like to watch. What's going on with you, man?
What's going on with me? Well, I'm in the middle of a show. I suppose if you don't have any details to tell us of what happened after the debate with Mike Pence, it may be time for us to move on to the rest of the show.
Okay, one final story. This is probably one of the craziest things. So you know how Trump got coronavirus and how we're all just like pretending like nothing matters in the White House?
Well, we've noticed that here at the fake news channel. We've definitely paid attention to the fact that it seems as though people who work for the White House are pretending that none of them have COVID and they're all going to be fine.
Yeah, so you know how that's going on? So the other day, Trump was in the Oval Office, and he was like, he shook someone's hand, man. It was fucking crazy.
He shook someone's hand, but that's actually huge news, Fly.
Yeah.
Did you see who it was?
I think it was like, I don't know, Barrett or something. I don't know, man. He's had to be there, dude. He's had to be there. Oh, man, this has been fun, Brian. Anyways, I gotta go catch up with my fly guys and my fly girls. When I say fly girl, of course, I mean Jennifer Lopez, of course.
The fly girls, as they say.
We're the fly girls, yeah. But it's been really fun, Brian. I can't believe, I got a small lifetime and I've seen a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, it sounds like if you were hanging out with Weird Al, you may have been alive for at least 10 years. Not that Weird Al was only alive 10 years ago, but as far as I know, his last DC tour was 10 years ago.
Yeah, man, he's had to be there, dude.
Yeah, you are a unique Fly, and I appreciate your time. And Fly, I hope you'll come back and tell us more from the Trump-Pence debate room.
I will, if I live that long. Bye!
All right. Well, that was our interview with a fly. And not just any fly, but the very fly who was on the hair of Mike Pence. Sounds like he's been on the hair of many folks. Hannah Simone, for some reason, we didn't get a clear answer on that. And of course, as well, Weird Al Yankovic. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, as we all know, the movie theaters have not been doing so well in America recently, especially considering that the movie conglomerate Regal has announced that they're shuttering many of their theaters this week. Now, our sponsor this week is Cinemagic, and they have an important message to get out to maybe encourage you to come in. Let's turn to that now.
Bring it on in. Am I allowed to bring in my loud, noisy, kind of smelly baby? Bring it all in. We're cool now. Anything flies. Just please come back to us. Well, hey, remember how before you weren't allowed to put your trash on the floor in the cup holder?
I've been informed that was not the beginning of the video, so we are going to restart it. Very exciting to see this question mark on the screen as we get this video ready for you. Now, as we cover time in order to get this video ready, we do consider the meaning of time. What is it? How does it work? And are we all privy to what its inner workings are? Oh, it looks like the video is ready. I'm going to keep talking until it plays and then be quiet just in case. Now, what we were just discussing is what is time? How does it work? What is love? Is it any worth it? What is war? Is it good? What's it good for? Nobody knows except Jackie Chan in the movie Rush Hour. Now, it could be said that what's happening now is bad.
Well, you would anyways, and then you feel bad for the employee.
Now is good. That's not the beginning of the video either. Now, I could, instead of continuing to do this, say, well, let's bump the video back into later, but I'm not the producer. I'll have to, if this video disappears from screen, I'll know to move on. If it does not, we'll continue to fill air, which I love to do. Now, I do want to tell you about my son, Gerald. My son, Gerald, is a 7-year-old boy who, in my opinion, is an excellent driver. I've considered...
I have to clean it up. Well, don't feel bad anymore. We only got one employee.
And that's not the beginning of the video either. Okay, now it looks like we are going to move on, which is probably a good choice because I was about to describe a real 7-year-old boy, which I don't think you're supposed to do on a show. Now, instead of that video, what we are going to do is go to a quick. Oh, we have more breaking news in my ear. If we could get Royce Shockley back on, we would be able to get to that breaking news. Now, here we go. We've got some breaking news coming in, as I just said. Let's go back to our correspondent, Royce Shockley, who is live in New Jersey. Royce?
Royce? Hey, sorry about that. I'm just anticipating the expected legalization of recreational marijuana here in the great state of New Jersey.
So it hasn't passed yet.
Well, no.
So Royce, how is this breaking news if what we're talking about has not happened?
Well, with the news being eclipsed by the round plump ass of coronavirus, a lot of things get overlooked. This also happened last week, so like when it's a huge story, and when Miss Rona slowly entered the president by surprise and began clapping cheeks with his inner circle, things happen.
I'm sensing a little bit of a theme here. It seems as though all you really want to talk about is how attracted you are to coronavirus. Is that right?
Oh no, I'm not my type. I like my women disease free. But there is a thing because yes, like the late great old dirty bastard, Rona likes it raw. No word yet on what type of lubricant was used.
Can we please get back to the marijuana story, Royce?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing here. Hold
on. Okay. Are we allowed to smoke on air?
The
answer is yes.
That's the stuff. That's so much better.
Royce.
Oh, where was I? Yeah. Yes. New Jersey could become the 14th state to legalize recreational marijuana. And if 3 other states, Arizona, Montana, and South Dakota, approve as well, 1 in 3 Americans will live in a state where you can spark up legally and make bad decisions and order Taco Bell when you get those inevitable munchies.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think this will mean for the rest of the country, Royce? Royce. Did you, Royce? Okay, we'll come back to him if he has any actual breaking news. Now, it does appear that we do have the video from earlier ready. It looks like we're looking at Melania Trump now, but pretty soon we'll be seeing that video. Very excited about that. You could say my producer's having a great day. You could also say he's not. It depends on your perspective. Let's get to that video in just a moment. And until we do, I will go on to describe my son. He's about 4'9". He's a 7-year-old boy. He likes sports, mostly basketball, but he's not very good at it. Sorry to break that to you here, son. I appreciate you watching, though. Now, it seems as though we're getting an issue where we're
I'm cool now. You're a deep.
And it looks like we're going to restart the video one more time. So let me add, my son thinks of himself as a power forward, but he is 4'9" at 7 years old, so probably destined to be more of a 2-guard. We'll see how he develops. I have been working on him working on his shot with him, and for the most part, he has missed every single one. I can also describe my wife, Tanya. She is a nice lady. She is similar to me, old, and also young. Now, at one point, she did say to me that she loved me and she would agree to marry me. But since then, it's been all downhill. For me, for her, it's been uphill. She's a very, very, very successful woman. In my opinion, she is probably the greatest attorney this side of the Mississippi River. Which side is it? Well, that's for you to know. Now, in my other opinion, I also think she is a lovely young woman who may also be old. And in that case, whichever it turns out to be, well, good for her. I also think she's very nice. I also think I wish I had more time that she loved me. Now, it looks like that video is giving us more trouble than it may or may not be worth. I expect it to be worth all of the trouble. Let's move on to another segment. My producer says at least we're driving home the fact that Melania is missing, which I do agree. It's very important. I do honestly, as much as this show likes to make fun of the first couple, it would be nice if Melania did not die from coronavirus. Now, let's get to our sports correspondent, Jason Whitlock. Jason, I hope you're ready because it's time for us to go to you. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing quite well, Jason. How are you?
I used to be a big basketball fan, but LeBron James has ruined the NBA. Unbelievable.
Well, how do you mean, Jason? Because it seems as though he's leading his team to a championship as we speak.
He might win a championship, but LeBron's legacy is gonna be ruining the NBA with politics. When I turn on the NBA, I don't want to be preached to. Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter, why are you so mean to Uncle Toms like me?
Well, now, Jason, I would say because historically, Uncle Toms have not been so good for the culture.
Well, I mean, I know I made fun of Colin Kaepernick, and all I do is criticize black athletes, but a brother just trying to get his cheddar. I work at Fox Sports. I gotta follow the Fox Sports agenda.
Now that's an interesting point. Do you consider it more worthwhile to honor the perspective of your employer, or to consider your own thoughts and feelings?
Well, I mean, I agree with my employer. Like, you know, all the athletes just need to shut up and dribble. But why they so mean to me?
That's a fair point. I mean, how would you expect them to react to you basically selling them out on air every time you speak?
Thank you.
Interesting. Yeah. Generally, when I insult folks, they don't say thank you. You can ask my wife, Tanya, about that.
Well, that's why today all the liberals are snowflakes, because when I insult them, they just insult me back, and that hurts my feelings. Just like when a snowflake falls on my big black head, it insults me and hurts my feelings. They're snowflakes.
And you do hear the snowflakes talking to you, Jason?
Yes, they do. That's why I bought this big hat from the funny hat store to protect me from the snowflakes, but I still got the liberal media flooding my ears. And
so you went into a hat store that's called the Funny Hat Store.
Yes, it's owned by Tucker Carlson, my very good friend. Yes.
Interesting. I've never seen a funny hat store. I have seen a store full of funny hats. Now,
probably because you live in a Democrat city.
I do live on one side or the other of the Mississippi River. Now, Jason, would you consider that it may be the case that a lot of people support LeBron over, say, your perspective, because LeBron kind of has a finger on the pulse of the country?
It might also be because LeBron is very good at dribbling a basketball, and I, Jason Whitlock, am not.
That's true.
But I went to college. I mean, I didn't get good grades, but I went to college.
How were your grades?
You know, I got a 2.8. I mean, I still passed, but whatever. I was in college, and that's what's most important, because these athletes don't understand perspectives of the world like I, Jason Whitlock, do. When I was in college, LeBron was in the NBA, you know, exposed to people of many different countries and perspectives, and I, Jason Whitlock, was just the one black guy in a room full of white people who had no different perspectives. How can LeBron know better than me?
Well, I think you've just laid it out pretty clearly how he could know better than you. He's absorbed the opinions of multiple people from multiple different backgrounds, which, in my opinion, is the best way to learn how the world could be better.
I disagree.
Interesting. How would you advocate for making the world a better place?
What I think is you just gotta follow the Judeo-Christian ideologies that have, you know, allow black people like myself to get the one token role at your media company and all that other stuff. just shh.
Interesting. At this show, we do say all perspectives are valid because we are a fake news program. We don't have to live up to the standards of what people would consider journalism. So, being that is true, I respect you.
Thank you very much. And just so you know, LeBron James, you're very good at basketball. Stop hurting my feelings.
I'll let him know. Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I have heard from my producer that we should have the video from earlier ready to go. If it isn't, I will add more details to my life. But if it is, well, we'll certainly watch it.
My name is Frankie Cinemagic, proud owner and operator of Frankie Cinemagic Theaters across Rochester, New York. Now, a lot of you have been thinking that we're closed because the industry is imploding. False. We're open. We miss you. And we're willing to do anything to get you back. That's why I'm excited to introduce you to our brand new cool policy. No more rules! Am I allowed to bring in my outside food or beverage? Bring it all in. Am I allowed to bring in a laser pointer? Bring it all in. Am I allowed to bring in my loud, noisy, kind of smelly baby? Bring it all in. We're cool now. Anything flies. Just please come back to us. Well, hey, remember how before you weren't allowed to put your trash on the floor in the cup holder? But you would anyways, and then you feel bad for the employee who's going to have to clean it up. Well, don't feel bad anymore. We only got one employee, and he's not going to clean it anyways. The employee is me, and I'm cool now. If you're a teen who wants to sneak into an R-rated movie, I'll pretend to be your dad, and the ticket guy's not going to know because he's an idiot. Hello, 2 tickets, please, for me and my son. Okay, there's going to be $20. Newsflash, the ticket guy is also me. Please come back so I can afford to hire some more employees. I'm f***ing understaffed here. And hey, if you want to get lucky with your GF or your BF, our entire back row is now dedicated for making out. And if you buy a popcorn, you could use their handicap seats for fucking. Just please come back. I know that some of you are scared, and I understand. You think you go to a movie theater, you're gonna get shot. That's why we now allow you to bring a gun for self-defense. This new policy works too. I have shot over 7 mass shooters, and that's a guarantee. My name is Frankie Cinemagic, reminding you, please come back. Please.
And wow, what a message from a sponsor. Now, we actually have our very own Frankie Cinemagic here to talk to us about that video and about what's been going on at the Cinemagic Theater. Frankie, thank you for being here.
Hi, how are you?
Well, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing not too good, but I think you might have been able to guess that.
Yeah, based on the video, it sounds like you're having a little bit of trouble sustaining your business.
Man, people don't like movies like when I was a boy, man. When I was a boy, I was inside that movie theater forever. Literally. Come on. Yeah. I'm from the theater, baby.
Were you, in fact, born in the very theater that you now own?
I was conceived in Cinemagic 7 in Rochester, Minnesota, and then I was eventually born in there and have never left the parking lot. I love movies.
Wow, that is fantastic. A lot of people love movies, but not a lot of people have dedicated their lives from conception through birth to current status to one location. That is amazing. Now, is it the case that your parents, in fact, lived inside of the movie theater, hence giving you the opportunity to be conceived and born there?
Oh, yeah, they were buried in there, too. God rest their bodies.
I'm so sorry to hear that. God rest their bodies?
Yeah, man. Haven't you ever heard of a body before?
Sure, I've heard of a body. It's just that typically I hear God rest their souls, as their bodies will pass and move and be returned to the earth, but their souls may live on.
That's a beautiful religious thing. You must have seen Star Wars before with all that type of talk.
That's true. I learned that from Yoda.
What?
I learned that from Yoda.
Oh, do or do not. There is no try. Stop yelling at me, Mom. I want to leave the movie theater. Let me go. I love that movie.
Now, was the second part of that quote you or somebody you overheard?
I don't know. My memories are all discombobulated, man. When you've been watching movies in a movie theater nonstop for 10 years, eventually you start to think, I need some more people in here. And that's why I'm trying to get people in there, man. Regal clothes. Shit.
I heard. Was Regal your primary competition?
Regal was my brother.
Oh,
Jeremy
I'm so sorry to hear
Regal.
you lost a brother.
Yeah, he had a different last name as me, man. And now his theaters are going as under as Flubber, which did not do well in the box office.
Is that right?
Have you seen Flubber?
I have seen Flubber, a little green guy bouncing around a room, causing a little bit of a ruckus, if I remember correctly.
My favorite part of that movie is when when Robin Williams says, and this is what I created. And now I'm not going to give you your lasagna tonight because if you get lasagna, you're going to get too much energy and you're going to run away from the movie theater. And we need somebody to sell popcorn tonight. I love that hilarious movie.
Well, the first part of the quote I certainly recognize, but the second part seemed to be something that one of your parents said to you. Oh, were you forced into working at this movie theater against your will as a child?
No, man, I just love movies so much. I could quote any movie that you name, and I'll do it exactly. For example, have you ever seen the movie Tin Cup?
I have not.
It's starring Kevin Costner, shot in Tubac, Arizona. That's where my retirement home will be if I leave. And there's this part where he takes his golf club, and he says to the lady, if this one goes in, you got to give me a kiss. And if you give me a kiss, then you're allowed to go out into the car, which is a thing that you get inside of to drive to a different location. And a location means a place that is not the interior of this Cinemagic 7 theater. There's an entire world out there, Frank Cinemagic, and you'll get to explore it if you do your job.
So
you haven't seen it, so that doesn't make sense.
I haven't seen Tin Cup, so I'm gonna have to assume that you got your name from that movie. No, we talked over each other, but I'll just assume you got your name from that movie, and not that you're inserting your own memory into that quote.
No, I don't think so. Because if that were the case, then my life would be like Memento. You know what I'm saying? That like,
oh sure, I've seen Memento.
You have seen it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The movie where she,
where he look, remember that part where he looks in the mirror and he says, "If the movie theater closes down, I'm gonna die."
No, Frank. Do you feel like if the movie theater closes down, you might die?
No, I love movies. We're playing Goonies on VHS in my basement of it.
In your basement? You mean the basement of the theater?
Yeah, you won't come over?
Well, I'm located on one side of the Mississippi River, and you are located on either the same one or the other, so I think it's a little bit too far. But thank you so much for the
New York, where the dogs bark. You want to write a check? You can't handle the truth. Do or do not. There is no try. You never leave in this movie theater, Frank.
Well, thank you so much, Frank. I hope that you do get continued success at the theater, and in fact, people do start coming back, and you can keep it open.
Thank you so much. If they arrive, then I arrive to the kingdom of paradise. I love you, man. Come over.
Well, I certainly will express love for you as well. Thank you so much, Frank Cinemagic. I hope we get an update from you someday in the future. Now, we do have an update from something else. And I wouldn't say it's an update so much as new information, because I don't believe any of us have heard from this video prior to when it gets played for the first time coming up right now. The video is going to play, and I will stop talking at the time when it plays. And until that time...
People, woman, man, TV. But President Trump accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction. Chemical F. Thus, the Power Trump girls were born. Using their ultra-stupid powers, white supremacy, Mar-a-Lago, and fake news fight progress and the forces of logic.
Listen, Mar-a-Lago. I pardoned Roger Stone. I accidentally revealed I took a dementia test, and coronavirus is real now. I need you to go out there and confuse the media.
We're on it! So, just to be clear, the president thinks that coronavirus is a danger to the American people now, even though before he did not.
Confuse the media powers, go! Ask China.
But isn't China the only country that...
Jobs, jobs, jobs! Immigrants! Building wall powers!
Okay, this feels unrelated. Can you at least tell us if the president plans on...
You should inject yourself with bleach!
Excuse me?
It is I, Mojo Biden. I'm the Democratic nominee for 2020, and I am your only option.
Don't let him sniff your hair!
White supremacy, fake news, and Mar-a-Lago. You are not the values this country was founded on, and...
Look, it's Barack Obama giving an eloquent speech in 2008.
Where?
Voter suppressor powers. We did it!
Next time on the Power Trump Girls, the girls murder Jeffrey Epstein.
It was a suicide.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how that was news, but it sure was nice. Now, we have another little bit of news coming up for us, which is, of course, going to happen in just a moment. Oh, excuse me, never mind. We're going to have to instead cut to another breaking news story. Royce, are you there?
Yeah. I'm here. Whew, man.
Great. You buzzed in saying you had another breaking news story. I'm going to give you another chance. I hope it's really breaking news. What is the breaking news?
Yeah, I'm here. You know, that Jersey weed really helped me focus, man. Oh, woo. Okay, so I'd actually like to talk about what's happening right now in Armenia, man. There's been very little news coverage of this ever since Donnie decided to play hide the baby carrot in Miss Rona's WAP.
I'm sorry. What, Royce?
Wet ass puss.
No, not that part. I know what a WAP is. I'm asking about what's going on in Armenia.
Oh, right. So, hostilities between Armenia and Azerbaijan have been rising throughout the summer and came to a head on September 27th when Azerbaijan initiated ground and aerial attacks in the Republic of Artsakh, a small nation that lies inside the borders of Azerbaijan. The Nagorno-Karabakh region is the epicenter of this and has been part of a border dispute for quite a while. The engagements have been characterized by the use of heavy artillery, rocket attacks, and drone warfare, as well as by emergent accounts of the use of cluster munitions, banned by most of the international community, but not by Armenia or Azerbaijan.
Wow, that is shocking and terrifying. What else can you tell us about the conflict?
Well, there's been a lot of history here involving border disputes, ethnic cleansing, and with the involvement of Turkey, who was responsible for a genocide of Armenians beginning in 1915, Turkey has actually been sending troops to Azerbaijan to assist, reigniting long-standing conflict. It's very serious and could result in all-out war.
Well, that is very disheartening. I hope the region finds a way to come to peace. Have there been talks of peace at all?
Actually, wait, I'm just getting this. This shows that actually just hours ago, through the help of our Russian President Vladimir Putin, there has been a ceasefire issued. So that this way both sides can both recover their dead and injured, as well as trade any prisoners that have been taken during this conflict. As of right now, the fighting has stopped, and we can only hope that it continues that way.
Well, that is great to hear. Thank you so much for reporting that, Royce, and for letting us know about the news that needs a little bit more light shed on it.
Of course, it's hard to focus on all the news when a full-on Rona orgy occurred on the White House lawn just a week ago. We've been blinded by all of the fluids, juices, and Rona skeet that have been reported in the White House, which I'm now told is known as Rona's Fuck Palace.
Uh-huh. Well, thank you for that, Royce.
You're very welcome. I'm Royce Shockley for Fake News.
Well, I did not know I would ever hear the words Rona skeet in the same sentence back to back in a way that implied they were in some way related, but now I have. That's all the fake news we have for you today. Let's get everybody back on the feed here in order to give folks one chance to say one word that they may want to say. Let's start with Frank Cinemagic. Let's start with you. Frank,
Movies, man. Let me hear them. And I'll watch them, man. For real, dude. Come on. You're dying.
Now, if anybody were to want to say, watch that video advertisement you made again, how would you encourage folks to do so?
But dude, on the big screen, man. We're playing my advertisement all day on the big screen. And we could really use some money to buy a projector because, man, COVID hurt us bad. We had to sell a projector. So now we're just using my DVD player and we're hooking it up to the TV, but it's not the same.
I see. What if folks were to, say, be at home and want to access this video? Is there any possible place they could find on the internet to do that?
Oh, shit. Sorry, man. That went over my head. That link down there, check out it on YouTube, man. That guy plays a lot of good videos. He's a real cinephile. Andre's Parade Comedy on YouTube.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Frank. Let's get to the Mike Pence's Fly. Mike Pence's Fly. Is there anything you'd like folks to find on the internet?
Hey, what's up, Ezra? Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on.
Bryant Willis.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's what I said. Bryant Willis. Yeah. Well, of course, please go follow Go Finger Guns. Those guys are freaking crazy, man. They do a live show every Monday. You just gotta watch it, man. It's so good. You can see, see Brian Willis's publicist Ezra Partier on there, and you can watch this really cool guy named Adam Macias. You can follow him on Adam R. Mac for all some crazy shit. Because I might end up on one of his reels pretty soon. Because yeah, man, that guy's a hoot, man. Yeah, thanks, Brian, for having me. This.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Fly, for that. I'm glad you added so many actual details when you talked about that show and Adam Ormack.
Yeah, of course, man. Just real quick, Nina Simone is Weird Al Yankovic's goddaughter. That's why I knew it. That's why they were there.
Oh,
yeah, that's hard to think about that.
I really hope that is true.
It's not, man. You gotta be there. It's the joke.
I see. Well, I'm glad that I was there for this one. Thank you so much, Fly. Now, Jason Whitlock, is there anything you'd like folks to find on the internet? Any last words for the people at home?
I want to talk about Hollywood, like the movie guy. There's so much reverse racism in Hollywood because if racism was over, then they would let Jeremy Renner play LeBron James. Yeah, Jeremy Renner from the Avengers.
Jeremy Renner from the Avengers to play LeBron James. Now, a lot of folks in Hollywood are saying rather than casting white people to play people of other races, we should never do that again.
I disagree.
I suppose so. I suppose you would. Now, is there anything that you'd like folks to find on the internet in order to, say, track you down and let you know that they disagree with you?
Yes. If you go to my Twitter page, it's my name, Jason Whitlock, And if you, for some reason, still have Twitter in 2020, please go to Jason Whitlock's Twitter page and leave nasty comments on the Twitter page. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, that's interesting. A lot of folks do still use Twitter in 2020. I think it's very popular.
Yeah, I'll use it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jason. Royce Shockley, I'm asking you for breaking news once more. Any breaking news of where people could find you on the internet?
Oh man, this Jersey weed. Whew, I tell you. Oh, you had a question? Something? Oh.
Yeah. Just where is there anything you'd like people to find on the internet, or any last words for our audience? Maybe an update on Azerbaijan and Armenia.
Okay. Well, to find on the internet, you can follow me at my name at Royce Shockley. You can also, if you tune into Twitch TV tomorrow at 7 p.m., you'll be able to see one of my videos that went for the anti-influencer show. So if you go to twitch.tv/Pack Theater, you'll be able to watch that there.
Very nice, and that's that anti-influencer hour on Instagram, which you can also follow at Rachel Resnick, who worked on that Power Trump Girls video and is in fact the showrunner for the anti-influencer hour. What a strange confluence of events.
It is kind of strange, like how Rona just kind of like just slipped inside of the White House. And
no, thank you, Royce. No, thank you. Now, what we do have one last thing for me to let you know, which is that you can follow my publicist, as Mike Pence's Fly was apt to point out, at Ezra Partier on Instagram, and a sister show of this one in some way that related, at Lester Pips. The two of them also look very similar to me. Great. If you thought that you were going to learn something from this show, I'm glad you thought that, and I'm glad you did. If you are my son, Gerald, please go to bed. It is late. If you are my wife, Tanya, please go to bed. I'll be there soon. If you are at home and thinking to yourself, wow, what a great show, then I say thank you. And we'll be back next week with more fake news every Friday at 7. You can follow at Fingerguns Comedy to learn more about it. And also say fake news, fake news, fake news 3 times in a mirror, and we will appear like Beetlejuice. Okay, now the show is going to end.